We're at the L-Acoustics America's headquarters. I'm with Dave Ratt. Thank you for joining us. Since the beginning of time, audio engineers, especially in live sound, have been trying to make it sound consistent throughout the entire space, make it sound good for everybody in the audience. But as we've seen over those decades, that's a lot harder to do than it is to theoretically imagine. We've set up a cool example, a demonstration setup here for you. We've got this camera, an overhead camera up here, and a handheld cam. And we're gonna put on these headphones to listen to this microphone. This microphone is gonna be what you hear as well. We've got an array up here of L-Acoustics Sivas. Stick around because we're gonna demonstrate how the Elisa system is kind of getting us closer to that ideal of giving everyone a really immersive and consistent experience throughout an entire audience. So theoretically speaking, what would be the best way to give everybody in the audience a consistent experience, Dave?
The goal is to have everybody in the room have a wonderful experience. And as an engineer, you're mixing a sound and you want to deliver that sound to everyone in the room. So you start off with a mono speaker. I mean, it makes sense. You would just have all the sound radiated from the source and evenly dispersed to everyone. Everybody hears everything perfect, right? Makes sense?
Yeah. Let's go ahead and do that. We'll use pink noise because that contains equal energy per octave across the frequency band. As you heard, it's pretty even coverage until you get out of the coverage angle of the speaker.
Off axis, yeah.
And there's also a big limitation in that it's right in front of the stage, which we cannot
kind of
have.
in the way.
So what we could do to get it out of the way and maybe to cover more of the audience area is to use multiple mono speakers. But unfortunately, when you have the same signal, a correlated signal in the air coming from two separate sources, those may align perfectly in the center, but when you start to move off to the side, you'll start to hear what's called comb filtering. You can see that some frequencies are summing together, some frequencies are canceling out, and it creates somewhat of a comb on that frequency graph. And the reason for that is because depending on the wavelength of each frequency, some will align at that point, and some will align completely inverted at that point.
Summation and cancellation will happen when you're equidistant from two sources recreating the exact same signal. You get summation. When you have an offset and one distance is farther or the time offset is different, then you get cancellations and summations that are frequency dependent, that comb filtering effect, and it's a mess. But that's also what causes power alley, which gives you that big bass boost right in the middle, and it's also what causes all the cancellation notes throughout a venue.
Right. So that wide dual mono where the left and right speaker are playing the same thing, that's great for a line of audience
Everybody
members
stands in the
of
center, we're all good.
They're all equal distance from the speaker, but as you'll hear in a second, it deteriorates quickly as you step to the side. Right now, the pink noise is coming from one source and it's being split to the left and right speaker. And that means that it's a correlated source. Can you tell us what that means?
If two speakers are recreating the same sound, we call that correlated. The same sound is radiated from multiple points in space. These sounds are related, they're correlated. And that means that they're going to have a maximum impact on each other. If you polarity reverse one and sum it back together, you'll get cancellation, and you can actually get a null if they're perfectly correlated. And the more correlated they are, the more impact differentials in distances and time will have on them, and it's quite audible. When you have decorrelated sounds, there is no impact on each other, and sounds can be fully correlated, fully decorrelated, or somewhere in between, or anywhere in between.
So theoretically, now that these are correlated, if we were to invert the polarity on one side, this being equal distance from each speaker should have a really drastic level.
Yes, we should be able to find that center point where we get a huge null, and we'll hear what we heard before, but we'll hear it even more drastic.
Let's try sending a correlated signal, same signal to the left and right speaker, and then we'll invert the polarity on one side and listen for a cancellation right here in a space that's equidistant from each speaker. As you can hear, now we've got the inverse of a power alley.
Yeah.
Right down the center, it's canceling
We've got
perfectly.
the power valley.
Next, let's take a decorrelated signal and do that same test where it will be in polarity at first, and then we'll flip the polarity on one. Now, decorrelated right now is happening from just taking two random sources, two pink noise generators.
Pink noise is random noise, so if you have two sources, they are completely decorrelated. If they're truly decorrelated, we should hear almost no difference or no difference at all when we flip polarity.
All right, that's great with pink noise, but how would we do that in a real world situation with musical instruments?
It's tough. As a sound engineer, you're trying to present a stereo image, not deny people on one stage left or stage right of the venue any of the instruments, and also not have your power alley and mono buildup and phasing issues. I used a lot of different methods to do it. Double miking guitar, using different types of mics, taking a ribbon mic and a dynamic mic, putting them at different distances, panning one mic hard left, one mic hard right. The ribbon mic makes things very roomy, and the dynamic mic will make it more direct sounding. So you've got a difference of reverberation, sound, or airiness to it. And then putting them at different distances, EQing them to sound the same, but using mics that naturally sound vastly different. So you're introducing phase issues and timing issues. You're trying really to mess things up and then fix them such that the signals are not identical. And the better job you do at it, then it'll pass that polarity reverse test. You can polarity reverse one side and it doesn't fully cancel when summed mono, and you can do that electronically. Bass DI and bass mic, panning those out. They sound different. Inside kick and outside kick. The beater mic on the inside and the port mic that picks up the resonant head. That resonant head's got a trail to it, which is a different time domain than the beater mic. Then you get this coo-hoo, coo-hoo, snare top and snare bottom. So you can start to break these instruments apart and decorrelate them. But one of the issues with that is now you're breaking these instruments apart. You're creating a false stereo image. Do you really want the snare drum to fly past you? Maybe for fun, you've decorrelated, you've solved or dealt with power alley, but you've created this listening environment which is maybe not as realistic, doesn't sound like the record, or it takes you out of this more, this is the band and where the sound's coming from. How do you decorrelate, use these methods that are complex without creating that other issue? Every time you solve a problem, you create another one.
Yeah, if you have equal level, the condenser mic on the guitar and the ribbon mic on the guitar in each speaker, it still sounds like it's coming down the middle. It's decorrelated, but if I'm over here, I don't get that effect at all. It's still coming from this speaker. And that's really jarring from an immersive standpoint. It's not coming from the guitarist.
No, it's not coming from the, it'll sound very stereo even though it's the same signal. So it will kind of still sound like it's spread apart, from here, but when you're over here, it'll sound like here and it's echoey. It just doesn't connect. There's no middle. You can pan those to kind of get some middle, but the more you pan them, the more you create the middle issue. So you're forced to have all that mono issue that we ran into with the phasing, or pan it hard and then you got stereo, but it's tough to get in between the two.
And that's actually what brought us to L-Acoustics, because they have this Elisa system. So in the next one, we're going to use that. We're going to send the same pink noise signal to it, and we're going to allow it to use its technology that will decorrelate those in real time. And we'll see if that gets rid of that comb filtering. And just for comparison's sake, let's go back to sending correlated signals to each speaker evenly.
We hear the interactions with the Elisa, but we don't hear that jet engine, that
which is incredible because it's doing it so quickly. We're sending it one source when it's doing the decorrelation itself. So I agree. If we sent a separate, completely separate pink noise generator to each of them, it will be even more decorrelated than that. But the difference between the same signal to left and right versus the Elisa decorrelated is really prominent.
And with the Elisa, one thing I've noticed while we were testing is standing way off axis, we can hear the pink noise sound like it's coming from the center, but we can also hear it well off the axis. Whereas with the decorrelated, it just sounds like it's coming from everywhere always. And with the correlated, it sounds like it's coming from the speaker next to us.
That's the magic of Elisa, because we're going to actually go into an object-based mixing environment where instead of your console feeding left, right, and maybe sub, you're feeding it objects, which may be your guitar, your keyboard, your snare drum, etc. You can send 64 objects straight into this thing, and you tell it the dimensions of your space, the details of your space, the speaker deployment you're using, and then the mixing experience is, rather than using a pan pot, you just place these objects where you want them. In a regular stereo system, though you may have a stereo image in the center, if you're standing really close to one speaker, everything seems to come from that place. And again, we expect things to come from what we see on stage. That's another benefit of Elisa, is that you'll hear the vocal, the center pan things will seem to come from right in front of you. The left pan things will seem to come to your left, and the right pan things will seem to come to your right, even though we're standing so close to these speakers off to the side.
Just have a little drink, babe. Stay up and dance right. Come on, let's party till the day comes by. Just have a little fun, babe. Step up and do your moves. Dance like crazy. Tell your friends to come by. There's a phone on the rise. You can feel it too. Just have a little drink, babe. Stay up and dance right. Come on, let's party till the day comes by. Just have a little fun, babe. Step up and do your moves. Dance like crazy. Tell your friends to come by. There's a phone on the rise. You can feel it too. Weekday, I know.
Thanks for watching. Thank you, Dave, for joining. If you want to learn the deeper details about how L-Acoustics Elisa works, use the link in the description below this video to learn more.